Hello, parent and performer of the Umbiyozo project. First of all, I want to thank you, the parent, for your cooperation thus far. You've given your child the go-ahead to be included on the DVD, you helped get him or her to the film shoot on time, you filled out and delivered a form with your and your child's contact details, and most importantly, you've given them the needed encouragement to go forth with singing and dancing in a uniquely South African fashion. The DVD and the project really couldn't be possible without you, so thank you again. And I want to thank you, the performer, for your love of what you do. You've spent your time, energy, and talents wisely with a group that allows you to express yourself and be empowered through art. Whenever I see groups like yours, I'm inspired. Keep doing what you're doing because it's so meaningful. It will be your continued love of your art and love of your group that will keep the group alive and thriving, so thank you. All I want to do with this video is give you a better understanding of who I am, what background I come from, and why I wanted to build Umbiyozo. I feel this is extremely important because it's going to be your faith and trust in my integrity and character that will drive this project forward. So here I go. Both of my parents were born and raised in South Africa, my mom Cape Town and my dad Johannesburg. Both of their parents and their parents' parents were also South Africans, but the initial immigrants to the country were Eastern European Jews. My family has always prided itself on living a righteous lifestyle, giving respect and love to everyone, even strangers. I have completely embraced this tradition, as it has been passed down to me. All of my friends and colleagues will testify that I live life with open arms, and am a very considerate person. I owe this to my family. My dad, a doctor, and my mom, a self-employed artist, left Cape Town to move to Boston, Massachusetts, USA, in 1991, where they meet up with my dad's family. Everyone had left due to an intolerance with the apartheid regime. 2 years later, I was born in Boston, and that makes me nearly 20 years old now. Besides being a first-generation American and a Jew, I grew up in America pretty much as any other kid would have. My best friend was, and still is, a neighbor of mine, Ross, who I met when I was 2. Growing up together, we found our greatest passion in sports, but around the age of 14, I diverged and found more fulfillment in music. My dad, who was a part-time blues musician when he was in Cape Town, taught me some of the basics of the guitar and singing. And from there, I taught myself the rest. I found music to be the most powerful outlet for someone living in the difficult early teenage years. Sports and video games seemed insignificant in comparison to the transformative power of music. I was lucky to have been influenced in this way by artistic parents. And the next 30 seconds you'll see of this video are some of my own musical endeavors. You'll be waiting for me, with your soul, decisions we made. So why won't you reel me into memory with that one splash all over you? What happened over the course of high school is what really influenced me into who I am today. Ross came along with me to Cape Town on one of my summer holiday trips with my mom to visit my mom's parents, who stay in Sea Point. On that trip, we interned with Hoops for Hope, an organization that teaches basketball to kids across the townships. We interned there in part because the colleges we wanted to attend in future demanded that community service be done. But also, we wanted to leave a real impact, so we fundraised enough to get a basketball hoop built in Philippi. That internship exposed me to the unjust scars of poverty left by apartheid, but more importantly to the beautiful culture of the Xhosa people. The disparity between the value I saw in the people and the unjust way that they're forced to live was abhorrent. I knew at this point that I wanted to make a return trip to help out the situation in whatever way I could, because I felt so strongly obligated. I felt obligated not just because I was so impacted by what I learned, but because I had the confidence in my entrepreneurial ability after leading my rock band Solstice, and because I had a great idea for a non-profit venture in the field of arts and culture. That idea, of course, was to create a single DVD that showcases several groups of youth doing traditional song and dance so that those groups could sell the DVD at performances to enable money-making and encourage participation in traditional musical arts. My work started in April 2011 when I started putting the idea on paper. I was fortunate when I shared that document with PANZA, the Performing Arts Network of South Africa, who distributed the document to 512 musicians, dancers, and outreach workers. Many people emailed me afterwards expressing interest in the idea and requesting participation. Although I was only 17, had no project funding, and could not foresee my future in the slightest, the enthusiasm in those emails gave me enough confidence to book the ticket to Cape Town. And ever since, it's been a wild journey. I've gone from driving around and seeing your group's auditions, to negotiating with managers to let us film at their venues, to filming the DVD, to holding meetings with the group facilitators, to learning more about the people I'm working with, to building close friendships, to fighting for busking rights with the city government, to trying to assemble a management team, and even now to trying to teach myself to speak Xhosa. I think something that all people would agree with is that I've put an extraordinary amount of energy, time, and passion into seeing out the vision of Umbiyozo. I've done it because I've grown close to the people and the cause that we support, and have enjoyed learning and growing myself as I go through this journey. I've been working very hard to try to set up a good management team because the reality is that I'm still a college student and have an important academic commitment when I'm in the States, studying at New York University. And so I just can't manage the whole thing while I'm abroad. That said, I'm still very involved in moving it forward as much as I can from the States. But as I wrap up talking about myself, I just want to make clear that the whole reason I've been able to drive this project as far as it has is ultimately because I have done everything with intrinsic motivation. In other words, I haven't been driven by superficial things like wealth, but rather by what my heart believes in. That's allowed me to truly and effectively do my part in the project. The last thing I'll speak to you about is how you can do your part moving forward. And you might very well be doing some of these already. But the first thing to do is to have the right mentality. That includes believing in Umbiyozo's vision, which is to let all forms of traditional South African singing and dancing be a positive influence in the lives of the Xhosa youth. Believing that I will not give up on you, so long as you don't give up on me. We need to help support each other. Believing we will make the Umbiyozo project a success. And believing that the Umbiyozo project was built from the beginning to help you, and that it will remain that way in the end, until its end. The other thing to do is to take action to support Umbiyozo. At this point in time, I realize that there are not many ways to engage, but there will be more ways in future. As for now, it would be very helpful if you started following our social media. Like the Umbiyozo Facebook page. Follow at Umbiyozo on Twitter. Go to www.umbiyozo.org and start sharing the YouTube videos we have posted there. In addition to doing those tasks yourself, please spread the word about the social media and encourage family and friends to also support the social media pages. This will also be a great way for any of you to contact me, which I encourage if you have questions, concerns, and ideas. Like I said before, it's going to be your enthusiasm that will drive this project forward. I'm flying back home to the States in a few days' time, but I'm hoping that I will be back as soon as late December 2013. If I don't come then, I'll definitely be back for the Cape Town winter in 2014. Hopefully at that point, I'll get the chance to meet you and all of your and all the performers and performers' parents of the Umbiyozo project. But until then, I wish you the best of luck in whatever you do, and Sala Kakuste.